This week, we explore the tech powering the Olympic Games.
Alistair examines the engineering behind an elite-level swimming suit.
We talk adaptive bikes with a former champion mountain biker.
The main thing is the articulation. Another rock comes, you just move it and it adjusts by itself.
And then there's Lara, who's doing... I don't know what.
I meet the Team GB athlete doing real and virtual gymnastics.
I'm going to do a somersault in this new technology.
Paris. Art. Music. Fashion. Sport. The Olympic and Paralympic Games are returning to this beautiful city for a third time. 1900, 1924, and now 2024. A century on, things have certainly changed. And we're not just talking about the outfits.
Every time there's an Olympic Games, it's a chance for not just sport, but sport tech to take to the world stage. And we're always learning about new ways to monitor how exercise and sport affects the human body. And what's trialled here at elite level will almost certainly trickle down to the rest of us ordinaries at some point.
So first, let's hit the pool, where Alistair Keane is checking out something very snug indeed.
I knew it from a very young age, that's where I want to be. The Olympics is just amazing to go to as a whole, but obviously it's taken me about 4 years to do so, so I'm so happy to finally have made that progression.
Getting to this point takes determination, lots of training, and the best technology.
There's a piece of equipment that all swimmers have that's tightly regulated, and designers are constantly trying to improve their swimsuits.
On the face of it, some costumes haven't really changed much over the years, but at the elite level, these are highly engineered bits of tech, costing hundreds of pounds.
So typically, an Olympic cycles is how we work. And we will have a revolution of a suit technology at an Olympic Games, something which is hopefully groundbreaking and moves the goalposts a little bit higher.
But how far designers can push the innovation is dictated by the sport's governing body. They limit what materials can be used or how and where seams might be placed. But that doesn't stop companies pushing the boundaries, and there are a handful competing to produce the best suits for this elite level.
Please step up.
Athletes will try out several different ones to decide what they want to race in. And today, Hanne Oshrin is trying the latest suit from Arena. It includes a new innovation in material designed to give the swimmer compression to help them be more streamlined in the water, but with flexibility to make it easier to put on.
So if you look at this suit, you'll see there's two different textures of fabric. They both have the TPU Hyperforce fabric in them, but one is smooth and one has got channels in it. We know from the research, we know where water needs to be channeled because vortices are created because of the form of the body. So we need to get the water away as soon as we can from those areas. And that's why we have these channels in certain parts of the suit.
How does it feel?
Yeah, so usually it takes, so with the suit, Arena suits that I've tried on before, they take longer. I would say like with a new suit it takes about 10 minutes, but this one took 2 minutes to get on.
How important is the compression to you?
Yeah, really important. So I find that the more compressive it is, I feel more buoyant in the water.
The best way for Honey to try out this suit is in the water, and we can use cameras to see how it's performing.
Honey is wearing the costume for the first time, swimming up and down. What can you see by using this analysis about the costume?
So as you can see around the suit here, there's minimal kind of bubbles created or air pockets. So that's because the suit's compressing the body into a more streamlined position and allowing the water to flow more easily across the surface of Honey's body.
So if she was wearing just a box standard off-the-shelf suit, we would expect a lot more bubbles.
Yeah, so the fabric could absorb more water. The fabric wouldn't compress as much as what the racing suits do, so you'd end up with more bubbles that are created around the body as she moves through the water.
And if the fabric was absorbing too much water,
yeah, that pulls you down, so the hips start to go lower. So as you're going through a race, you'd fatigue more. So that then again makes it more difficult for you to maintain the speed and technique and actually move through the water fast at the back end of the race, especially like the 200 backstroke that Honey swims as the main event.
But there's only so much a coach's eye can see. The real decider is how it feels in the water.
Hello.
hello. How does it feel?
Yeah, really good. So, like I was saying before, I think I got the suit on in about 2 minutes, and usually it takes me about 10 minutes with a new suit. So I thought, how's it going to feel in the water? But as soon as I got in, it's sort of all compressed. And again, I felt really, really buoyant. So that's really important to me.
How many tests of a suit will you do before you actually decide?
Yeah, so I'll probably want to do like one or two run through. So I'll do something called like stand-up swims where I do 200 back. So I'll come in, put the suit on again, and just swim the race how I normally do, just in a training environment, and see how that feels.
Well, good luck in the Olympics, and we should let you keep training.
Thank you so much.
So, which suit will Honey pick in the end? We'll have to wait until race day to find out.
Didn't see Alistair's trunks, I notice. Anyway.
Paris is such an iconic city, and the Olympics are not just an opportunity to revitalise a host nation's infrastructure, but to showcase its beautiful heritage too.
This is Pont Alexandre III, widely regarded as the most ornate and extravagant bridge spanning the Seine.
You're going to be seeing a lot of this bridge during the Games because it's involved in several events. The marathon swimming will go under it and the road cycling will go over it.
Mind you, while the time trial event finishes at the bridge, spare a thought for the cycling road racers, for whom this will be a distant memory by the time they've cycled through Paris, down through the Chevreuse Valley, and then all the way up to a final climb on the Butte Montmartre.
And then there's the mountain biking. It's been an Olympic sport since 1996, and this year will take place on Elancourt Hill, the highest point in the Paris region. However, the sport has yet to appear at the Paralympics, but Benderico's been to meet the bikers who want to change that.
This is competitive mountain bike racing, a sport where riders hurl themselves off massive jumps, careen through narrow tree-lined trails, and fly downhill at eye-watering speeds.
So I started competing when I was like 12, 11 years old. I used to ride downhill.
This is Gustavo Ortiz, a competitive mountain biker and the two-time national champion of his native Chile.
I was Pan American champion, national champion multiple times. And I finished 20th in a World Cup. It was my best result.
But while training in 2017, he had a tragic accident.
I crashed in Whistler and I finished paralyzed from my chest down.
Did you think you would be able to cycle again?
No, it never came to my mind.
Un cœur, un état d'esprit.
Although mountain biking will be an official sport at this year's Olympic Games, it's not yet been made an official sport in the Paralympic Games. That's partially because the bikes needed to race simply haven't existed. Many traditional hand cycles are built to be ridden on the road and feature wide wheelbases. Occasionally, they even place riders kneeling forward. This position puts their center of gravity higher, something that would make sharp turns difficult on a loose dirt mountain bike trail. But a Canadian company think they've developed a solution.
I broke my back in 1996 snowboarding, and prior to that I loved mountain biking, I loved snowboarding and climbing. I was like a kid who loved the outdoors in Canada, and very early on in my injury I recognized that I was going to be 100% reliant on technology.
So, a machinist by trade, Christian began building experimental adaptive mountain bikes at home.
The problem was always that I would tip over, or like I would go fast down a hill and corner and tip to the outside of the corner.
For years and years he tinkered with different designs, but nothing worked. So he focused his energy instead on a custom cross-country ski chair that could shift and pivot over undulating snow. It was while skiing that a light bulb went off. If he just flipped the ski setup over, he'd have a system that would allow the wheels to articulate and absorb shocks independently.
The main thing is the articulation. So with that you can go through skinny sections, you can crawl into rocks, and then if another rock comes, you just move it and it adjusts by itself.
Frame can also absorb big drops, allowing riders to maintain speed through technical sections the same way they would on a standard mountain bike. Aside from its articulating frame, these bikes have a few other unique features that make them especially useful for mountain bikers. Unlike most hand cycles, these bikes operate with 2 wheels in the front and 1 in the back. Combined with an upright seating position closer to the ground, riders here can easily shift and pitch their weight to avoid tipping over on sharp turns. The hand cycles also come with pedal assist motors, and there are even fully motorized models as well. Currently, each bike is custom built for the rider and ranges in price anywhere from $13,000 to $20,000. Boed says their bikes are already in 30 countries, and more bikes in more places could help the sport offer meaningful competition and worldwide reach, 2 requirements to become an official Paralympic game. Even still, Christian says these bikes are helping bring a newfound acceptance for adaptive mountain bike riders.
We're part of cycling now, which is huge for us internally at Boed, but it's way bigger for our customer. Our acceptance is their acceptance.
While it has helped with his racing, Gustavo says this technology has helped him get back and enjoy riding his bike again.
I feel that I'm discovering another kind of riding, because I was so used to just racing, racing. I'm preparing for racing, that now I am just enjoying the process of riding and going for long rides, and learning how to enjoy being in those places. Yeah.
While we're certain a bowhead won't be at this year's Paralympics in Paris, they might just be kicking up a cloud of dust in Los Angeles in 2028.